So good morning. A lot of you guys have requested that I do a hair tutorial with you guys and show you guys how I curl my hair and everything, and that is exactly what I'm going to do today. But I thought I would just add in a little bit of a get ready with me video included in that, so you guys can see like the full process of me putting my makeup on and getting my hair done. Right now I did not bring my hair dryer in here or my curling iron. I probably will, only because it's just a lot easier to do it in here with my camera set up in here and the lighting and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I just got out of the shower, and before I actually even come in here, hold on, chapstick, love this stuff. Before I actually even come in here and put my makeup on, I usually comb out my hair. First things first though, I use my Johnson's No More Tangles Detangling Spray. So I usually just put this stuff in my hair just like this. La, 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 la. And I just spray it all the way around my hair. And then I take my little comb and I comb it all out. Now, you guys are going to see me look over here in this mirror quite often. That's because I have a mirror there. And I'm going to be checking on myself in the mirror, even though I can see it right there too. I just don't want you guys to think that I'm ignoring you. But I have to like sometimes see in the mirror because I can't exactly see fully in this little screen here. But anyway, so I comb out my hair just like this. You guys can see how nicely my hair just combed right out. See? No tangles, no knots. Now if I was just to go ahead and pull my hair through the my hair when it was wet, I'd probably have a ton of tangles or knots, and it would take me forever to get all that stuff out of my hair. So, oh you guys, I still haven't moved that stupid tote back there. That's stupid. That little tote right there. Anyway, I need to move that so it's not in my viewing area. Okay, then after I comb out my hair and it's nice and straight, I take my L'Oreal Thermal Blow Dry It Smoother Cream, and I just put like a, I don't know, like a little quarter size on my hand, rub it through, and rub it through my hair, starting at the roots and going all the way down. That's what I do with the thermal spray, or thermal cream, sorry. And then I take my hair and pull it back just like this. I twist it in the top, I take a little clip, and I clip it up there. I comb out the ends. And then I use my L'Oreal Blow Dry It Quick Dry Primer Spray. And I just spray this part of my hair right here. Just like so. Just like that. And then I just kind of comb it through. And then that's where I come in here and I do all of my makeup. So that is what I'm going to do right now. And I want to just make sure that you guys are at a good angle where you guys can see me putting on my makeup. Yeah, I think that would be okay. I don't know. I hope that it's okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so I have my little mirror right here. And the first thing that I do is I take my CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous. And I mean, I might be able to move this over here so it's a little more like in front of the camera so you guys can see a little better. Okay, so I take that and I just kind of put, you know, a little bit under my eyes right here. I just take that and cover up underneath my eyes. And I don't use anything like expensive or anything like that. For my, what is that stuff? Concealer, cover up, whatever. What is this stuff? I don't even know what this stuff is. Isn't that funny how I just don't even know? Okay, and then I just take my little blender brush and I just blend it all in underneath my eye just to kind of cover up some of my freckles that I have from the sun, and maybe some dark circles that I have under my eyes. So I just kind of cover it up just like that. I dab a little bit on my nose to keep the shine away. And that is pretty much, I put like a little bit over my eyebrows, just a tad, nothing major. Okay, and then the next thing that I use, can you guys see me? Let's see. The next thing that I use is my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. I love this stuff. I have been using this stuff for quite some time, and I have to say, this stuff is so amazing. My eyeshadow stays on, and I never have any problems with it like creasing off or clumping off or anything like that. But I also think it has to do with the eyeshadow brand that you use too. So I just kind of put a little bit of that on my eyelids, and then I just take my finger and smear it all the way around, all the way up to the top of my eyebrows there. Okay, so that's what I do there. And then next, I take a rag, because I'm sweating all the time, and I just dab the top of my lip because I'm sweating. And then I turn the fan on, that's below me, on high. Oh my God, menopause. Ladies, if you're not there yet, good, happy, be thankful you're not there yet if you're not there yet. But when you get there, holy crap, be prepared. Be prepared. Okay, then the next thing that I do is I pick out which eyeshadow palette that I want to use. And I've been using, right now, I've been using the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, and I absolutely love this one. I don't know, I just kind of, sometimes I just pick and choose because I just love all these colors in here. So right now, I've just been using some of these colors. And let's see, I am going to, right now, I'm going to choose, I always start with Satin Sheets, which is the big one right up here. So Satin Sheets is the one that I start with first, and I put that all over my eyelid. All over the top of my eyelid. I guess I should have plucked some eyebrow hairs too while I was at it, but oh, I didn't. But anyway, usually I do that too if there's some of them little ones out of control. But anyway, I just put all of this all over my eyelid, and then I do the same thing with the other eye, of course. So my sister sends me a picture this morning of my daughter-in-law. She's in Illinois right now because my son Cody is in California in recruiter school. So, because he's going to be a recruiter in the Marine Corps. So anyway, my sister sent me some pictures this morning of my daughter-in-law and my sons, Austin and Dalton, and they were all having dinner up north with my son's grandparents, his uncle, and all of her family, brothers and stuff. Anyway, so the next color that I'm going to use is the Almond Truffle, which is just right here in the corner. And I just take my little brush, which is the number 205, and I just get some eyeshadow on there, and then I just put this right above that little crease line area, and this is where I put it, right there. I love how these colors mix, so pretty. But anyway, so my sister sends me these pictures this morning, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. The ones that were missing though was my son's dad and his stepmom, which they're not speaking terms anyway, and neither are his parents, the grandparents, or which is his parents. Or him and his wife. So they're not on speaking terms, which is super, super sad. But anyway, nonetheless, I was like, I wish that they would encourage the twins to talk to me. I wish Mallory would do that, but anyway, they don't seem to want to do any of that, so whatever. But anyway, so the next thing that I do is I just take, this brush, this is from BH Cosmetics, and it definitely has seen better days. But anyway, then I just kind of take, what color do I take? I take this little mocha right here, this mocha color, and I kind of just put this on the corner of my eyes right here, just to give it a little darker eyeshadow right here on the corner. That's what I do there. And I do the same thing on the other eye. But yeah, I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, it's so sad because it's like I want to talk to my twins so bad. And I did send them both a text the other day, but both of them ignored it. Yeah, so it's kind of sad because I haven't seen them in 9 years. And 9 years not to see your children is a very, very, very long time. It's like a whole lifetime. It's a whole lifetime without your children. So anyway, and then after that, I get my eyeliner out, which is the L'Oreal little eyeliner. Comes in this little container here. And I've told you guys this a zillion times, it comes with an applicator. So I always love this applicator because this is the best best way for me to be able to put on any eyeliner. So I'm going to put on some eyeliner, which I have to get really close to the mirror to see this, so I'll pull you guys down a bit. So I'm down here with you guys on this level. So anyway, yeah, 9 years is a long time not to see your children, and I have obviously been in contact with them, but they get scared. Something happens and the grandparents tell them lies about me, and then it scares them, and then they decide not to talk to me anymore. Basically what they do is they threaten them. They basically threaten them. If you talk to your mom, which there's no reason for them not to talk to me, if you talk to your mom, we are no longer going to talk to you. We will cut you off. We're not going to put you in the will, that type of thing. Because according to my kids, they've already cut their son, which is my boy's dad, out of the will. Which is so sad and just so selfish. But that's how that's how that family works. That's how they roll. If you do something in their family, they like completely cut you off. They've cut off other family before, and they would do it again, and they would continue to do it. I'm gonna put this back up because that drives me crazy. Okay, so, and I'm gonna, oops, I'm gonna go to the other eye now. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the other eye and do the same thing with when the fan is blowing, it dries out my eyes quickly, so my eyes start watering, so I have to push the fan down. And the fan, by the way, is like down here, like between my legs on the floor, and it just kind of blows up towards me so I don't get hot, because I get super hot. But anyway, I know that my daughter-in-law, I knew she was going to be going to Illinois, because I had talked to Cody about that a couple of weeks ago prior to him leaving for California. And when he gets back in September, she is leaving to go to boot camp herself. Okay, because she has enlisted in the Marine Corps as well, but she enlisted as an officer because she has college. So anyway, I told Cody that if she needed anything while he was gone, tell her to feel free to contact me. You know, I'd be glad to. She can come stay, visit if she gets bored or whatever, but I know she also works, but obviously she took this time to go to Illinois to be with her family, which is fine. Smart girl. Don't have a problem with that, which is great. I just wish, like I said, I wish I could just see my twins, Austin and Dalton. I just really wish I could see them. Okay, so the next thing that I do is I get out my mascara, and I put my mascara on. And this is just the Maybelline Great Lash. I've been using this stuff for a long time. Absolutely love it. So I just put my mascara on to my liking. I have used this mascara, I swear, ever since I was probably in high school. And I didn't really like, it's so funny because like for a long time, like when I moved to Kankakee and I was with Brian or whatever, I didn't wear makeup for a long time. Like I just didn't want to deal with putting it on, which is strange, right? But yeah, I just didn't want to deal with putting it on, so I just never wore it. And then I don't know, I finally started wearing it, and it was like, oh, this is nice, this is pretty. So then I wear it. So anyway, then I go to my other eye, obviously do the same thing. So my son Brandon and I, he's in Spain right now. He and I talk quite often. We talk as often as possible, and he is just the sweetest young man to me. He is so sweet. He's not like hateful or disrespectful. He never ever has been during this whole time. Now I hadn't seen him, let's see, it was in 2008 the last time I saw all of my kids together. And Brandon reached out to me, and goodness gracious, I don't even remember what year it was. It may have been 2013, so that would have been 5 years at that point. He contacted me when he was 16 via email, and he reached out to me and said, hey mom, you know, it's Brandon, I love you, everything will be okay when I turn 18. And it was just, he had won like the demolition derby that night or whatever, and he was so excited he wanted to share it with somebody, and the first person that came to his mind after 5 years of not seeing me was him. So yeah, anyway. And some of you are probably going, okay, why didn't you see your kids? What happened that caused you not to see your kids? Well, I only had sole custody of my kids because when my ex-husband and I were going through all of the court and divorce and all this crap, he thought it would be nice to have divorce go to trial for some reason, when I was just like, why don't we just sign the papers and just be done with it? We were divorced, get over it. But no, he just thought he would like to drag this whole thing out, which probably him and his attorney too, a balance of probably both attorneys are stinking little money suckers is what they are. But anyway, so we ended up having to go to trial in court. Anyway, while we were in trial, I had already lived with Brian for about 2 years. But prior to that, I lived with him when we were first going through all of the separation and all of the, like, who's going to hold on to the kids during the separation and all this good stuff before the divorce is final. So the judge literally like said, because you're living with your boyfriend, I cannot in my right mind let the kids live with you, because I don't consider what you your relationship with your live-in boyfriend, I don't consider that a very stable or healthy environment for your children. So she granted him sole custody. So I then got stuck with visitation. Now let me just say this to y'all. Once the ex-spouse gets sole custody, your chances of ever getting custody of your kids again, never gonna happen. Because they establish a environment, they establish a home environment, they establish stability. And for you to be able to prove stability in your life or your home or whatever the case may be later on down the road, doesn't even matter. Nope. And that's basically what happened with me. I was living with Brian. We lived in a very nice home. We had stability. We both had jobs. I had a job. His job didn't matter, like in my case anyway. But they just said the judge said because I was living with my boyfriend, she could not, in her right mind, grant me sole custody of my children, or even joint custody for that matter, of my kids, because she didn't think that the environment that I was living in was considered stable or healthy, because I was living with my boyfriend, which is funny because years down the road, that little statement would come back to haunt my ex-husband and his live-in girlfriend. So anyway, that's how that got established, and that's how I ended up having visitation with my kids. Okay, so the next thing that I do is I take this little brush right here. I don't even know what this is. Again, it's a BH Cosmetics. I don't even know what this is called. And I just kind of take this Definity color right here, down here, which is like an ivory type of color, and I just put it on the very top of my eye, right here above everything, right underneath my eyebrows. And I just put that on. And then I do the other side as well. And this stuff smells like chocolate, and it's like with a little bit of powder gets in your mouth and you're talking, it's like because it tastes like cocoa powder. Okay, and then I just take a blender, my blender brush, and I just blend it all in. And I just make it look real nice and smooth and even. That is what I do. And then sometimes that little, that white Definity stuff kind of gets all over my nose and stuff, flaky. So I just kind of do this. Okay. Then the next thing that I do is I take this little corner, it's like a little tiny corner brush, and I do the same thing with that Divinity. And I just put a little bit on there, and I put it in my corners of my eyes just like this, just to like give my eye like some pop, some more color right there. That's what I do right there. It doesn't really stay on very long because it's right in the crease in the corner of my eye, so you guys can see I just put it right in here. And then after that, I take, where did it go? This little beauty number right here. And that stuff that I put in my corner right here, which is the mocha, I take some of the mocha and I just put a little bit more on here, just like this, just to, you know, right here in the corners, just to give it a little bit more definition, which I like that. I should probably use this brush all the time to do that. And then I take a little bit and I just put it right here in the corner, but not with that brush. I need to use a different one. And we're going to use this little tiny thing right here. I usually put my brushes back when I'm finished, especially if I'm going to film. So I just put a little bit right here on the bottom of my eye, just to give it a little bit more definition. And a little bit more pop of color right through there. So that's what I like to do. And that usually doesn't stay either, quite honestly, on that part of my eye. I don't exactly know why, but it just doesn't. So anyway, bada bing, bada boom. My eyes are done. Like I said, I just kind of take the brush and go around with any flakes that happen on my, while that's going down. And there it is. There's my eyes. I don't know if you guys can see them very well, but there you have it. That's what my eyes look like after I'm done with all that. I don't wear any blush. I don't do anything like that. I don't put anything up on my temples or anything like that. This is just it, plain Jane. And that's it. So now we are going to go do my hair, which I think I'm just going to bring all my stuff in here. So give me a second to get all that stuff together. Okay, so I brought everything in here. My hair dryer, my brush, I still have my comb in here, and I plugged in my curling iron. So I'm going to go ahead and blow dry my hair now, and then I will show you guys how how the process works. So let's get to blow drying. Oh my gosh, as you guys can see, it takes a long time for me to blow dry my hair, because I have a lot of hair and it's very, very thick. Okay, so the next thing that I do is I just pull my hair back again like I had it when it was wet, and I just do the same thing at the same sections all over my hair with the curling iron. So that's up there nice and tight. I'm going to put this down there so I don't drop it. And then brace yourself, ladies, because this is your old school curling iron. That is exactly what I use to get my curls in my hair. So basically what I do is I just take my hair and I take a little section of it like this, take my curling iron, and I go halfway down, and then I just twist it just like this. Ouch. And I burn myself from time to time as well. Let's see how close we can get without being like freaked out. Okay, so I just take it and then I just very gradually bring it through like this, and then just kind of twirl it again until all that last piece is all curled up in there. So that's basically how I do it, and then I just let it sit like that. So there is one curl, just like that. And then I do the same thing all the way around my head. So just like this, halfway down, then I wrap it just like that. And girls, I don't even know how long I've had this curling iron. This curling iron is like ancient, but this is like the old school curling iron. I cannot use those other like wands because I cannot get my hair to like wrap around that wand for the life of me. So I'm like, screw it, I'm not using it. I'm gonna go old school, and it works just the same. See, pretty little curls. And I'm gonna go to this side and do the same thing. Separate those two. And as you guys can see too, I don't really spray anything in my hair before I go do all this. I've already used all the stuff that I need, the thermal smoother cream and then the blow dry it quick primer spray. I don't usually put anything else in my hair to curl my hair. I will, when I'm done with my curls or whatever on one side, I will spray it with a little bit of hairspray. That way it just kind of sets and stays. But I didn't bring my hairspray in here, so, and then again, halfway down, I just twist it like that. And usually when I'm doing my hair and my makeup, I'm listening to music. That's usually what I'm listening to, or I'm watching videos. I can't really listen to anything while I'm blow drying my hair, but as soon as I'm curling it, I usually turn on music or I watch a YouTube video. So there's that section. And then I just take this section, let's go back a little bit. I take this section and separate it just like this, and I pull this piece back and I clip it in just like that, and I do the same thing on this side, but I do a little different things with this side. I start from last time, I started from this way where the curling iron is open this way, but this time I start from this way and I do it backwards, so it's going towards my face. That way it kind of gives it a little bit more body and texture, and my curls just look cute, I guess that's what they would be called. So anyway, let's go back to talking about my kids. Okay, so the judge basically says, you don't have a healthy environment, blah, 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 which was a bunch of BS. She had never been to my house, so how can you judge somebody and tell somebody that they don't have a healthy environment if you don't even know? So anyway, at that point, he established stability for the boys. Okay, at that point, that's when a lot of things started happening. Now, I was able to have visitation with my kids, but I was also in a very, very weird place in my life as well, where I lived an hour and a half away. And during the winter months, it was very, very hard to be able to go see them, especially if I knew that it was going to be snowy or icy or whatever the case may be. So sometimes I would have to cancel my Friday nights and would have to go and pick them up on a Saturday. Yeah, that did not bode well with the mister, because he would end up canceling my entire visitation because of that. And I'm like, well, that's just not right. You can't do all that because it's just the weather. I'm going to be there. So I'd show up anyway to go pick up my boys, and he would be gone. He would be completely gone. And this is like 7 o'clock in the morning. And this would be like 7 o'clock in the morning that he wouldn't be there. So after a few times of this, I got sick of it, and I was starting to report it to the police. And then they would file an interference with visitation report, and after 3 of those interference with visitation reports, he would have to go to court. So he ended up getting 3, and I ended up having to take him to court for it, and he never ever did that again. And then he started playing the I'm abusing my kids card, that I'm abusing the boys. And I never ever have done that. Yes, I have spanked them, but I've never abused them, so there is a big difference. I did discipline them. They had different disciplining techniques than I did, but again, I never spanked them like constantly. It was never like anything like that. But they had rules and stuff at my house that they had to abide by, and anyway, so nonetheless, then the stepmom comes into the picture. When we find out that they're living together, then I file another little court thing. I forgot what I did, but basically, because I found out that they were living together, because remember, like, the judge had told me, because I was living with my boyfriend at the time. We were married now when all this went down. But we decided that we were going to take them back to court because they were living together and I was trying to get custody of the kids at the time. Well, when that happened, their plan to get married was like in October, and the papers that we gave them were in May. And or was in March or something like that. So they ended up having to push their wedding date up because they knew that he would probably end up losing the sole custody of the kids, knowing that they were living together. So basically, they had to get married right away because of all that. So that came back to bite them, didn't it? So nonetheless, I'm back doing my other section of my hair. I split that off too. And I'm doing the same thing as I did with all the other ones. So anyway, so during this time when the stepmom steps in and starts taking over, she starts ruling the roost. We're talking, she is the one who now I am communicating with when it comes to my kids. And I'm like, oh yeah, hell no, this is not going to work. So if I would ask, I say, hey, is it okay if I pick the boys up from school on Friday? There's a half a day. I can pick them up. My job is really flexible. I can do all that. That was always a battle. That was always like, nope, your time starts at 6 p.m. Therefore, you need to pick up the kids at 6 p.m. I'm like, why can't you just let me, you're going to leave them in daycare? They're going to go to after school programs, and I would rather go pick them up, and you're going to just leave them in after school programs. So anyway, that was a fight. So I ended up having to go back to court so I could get the kids on half a days of school and pick them up early, and that was a fight. And oh yeah, and he fought me tooth and nail on those ones too, being able to pick the kids up early and whatever. So anyway, nonetheless. So sometimes the stepmom would send me emails stating that the boys came home with the wrong underwear or the wrong socks, or these were not the clothes that I sent the boys to you in. And I'm thinking, okay, well, sometimes there was an accident. Basically, I would wash the boys' clothes. So from the time that they got to my house on Friday night, I would tell the boys, okay, take off the clothes that you have on, and we're going to put them in a separate basket. That way I could get those washed for you over the weekends, and they'd be nice and clean for you to wear home on Sunday. That way little Miss Bitchiness didn't have to send me dirty emails saying that the boys' underwear is not the same that they came there with. So anyway, so that's kind of what we started doing there. So it was just stupid things. It was everything. And then like I would have family come in town. I'm like, hey, can I pick up the kids a little bit early? Can I pick them up? Can I keep them a little bit longer? No. I would try calling my kids on the times that, you know, during the absent times that I didn't have my kids on the weekend. So I tried calling my kids and talking to them through the week. The phone would ring and ring and ring and ring and ring, and they would never, ever, ever pick up the phone or answer the phone. So I started, obviously, I kept track of all that. And then we would kind of schedule times to call. Even the schedule times didn't even work, which was ridiculous. So I just kind of gave up on that because I knew that I was never, ever going to be able to talk to the kids while they were at home, ever. And that's kind of how things started. So I'd send them things, they'd send stuff back. They'd tell me they don't want stuff sent there. Not the boys, but the stepmom and the dad. So I couldn't send my kids anything. Oh my God, it was just a nightmare. One thing after another, after another, after another. And then of course then the lawyer fees, and then the child support, and it just got to be too much. And they would run me ragged with stupid crap, going back and forth to the attorneys and going back and forth to court for the stupidest, pettiest stuff. And all I wanted to do was have more time with my kids, and every single time he'd fight me tooth and nail on it. He would fight me tooth and nail on more time with my kids. So when we moved to Huntsville, Alabama, I had filed a petition, obviously, because I was moving to Huntsville, and I wanted to be able to have at least the summertime with my kids, and of course holidays or whatever. And the judge denied my summertime visitation with my kids. So I wanted to have the kids with me in the summertime. And the judge denied that and said, we can't take the kids away from their dad for that long. So sad. So anyway, so I ended up not having my kids. And then the bombshell. when I found out that when we had kept going back and forth to court or whatever, obviously I was ordered to pay his attorney's fees, which is stupid as hell. Again, the whole judicial system and the family court system is completely screwed up. So anyway, long story short, I ended up I had like a ton of child support to pay, even though I was paying it. This is where the little sneakiness comes in. During one of our court hearings, his attorney forgot to add on my extra arrearage that I had accumulated somehow. Don't know how, because I had a job this whole time and they were taking it all out. So anyway, when 2008 came around and we were going back and forth to court about the summertime visitation or whatever, come to find out I had owed almost $20,000 in back child support. How in the hell did that happen when they were taking it out of my paycheck for the past 7 years? Anyway, so I was up a creek without a paddle, and basically I was forced to, they gave me an ultimatum. I was forced to relinquish my rights to my kids, or pretty much deal with him for the rest of my life until the boys turned 18, or face jail time because they wanted me to pay $1,200 a month in child support, including arrearage. I wasn't even making $1,200 a month. My job in Huntsville didn't even pay me $1,200 a month. So I'm like, I can't pay that. That's insane. That's crazy. And then if I only paid half of it and didn't pay all of it, then they would get me on that back child support. So that would be accumulating on top of it. So I was faced with the dilemma of being faced with all of that, having to pay all that, but I couldn't pay it, or relinquishing my rights to my kids, which ultimately that's exactly what ended up happening. Sadly, that was like the worst day of my life. But I was pretty much coerced, blackmailed, forced into. I was hung by a noose pretty much because I had no other choices. There was no attorney out there was willing to help me at that point. And that's basically what it had boiled down to. That's what they had prepared me for the past 7 years of him having sole custody and me having to fight with them tooth and nail about phone calls and clothing and being able to pick up the kids and dropping them off and picking them up early, or maybe dropping them off a little bit late so I could have more time with my kids. But every single time I was told no, and then I would be like, she'd send me the stupidest email on Monday. The kid's jacket had a stain on it. So, okay, what do you want me to do? But anyway, so yeah, there's my story. So from 2008 up until now, that is what I have been dealing with. And it's been so hard and it's been so tough trying to contact my kids because obviously they have been told so many lies, and that's where all that comes in. But anyway, okay, so there's my story. I did my hair. I gotta go spray it now so it stays, but this is what my hair looks like. That's how I do my hair, ladies. That's it. Somebody asked me the other day too, what was the perfume that I bought at Anthropologie, and oh my god, this stuff is amazing. This is I don't know what it's called honestly, but it looks like this in this bottle, and I think it's called Fictions, and it's called Fictions, I think, because right, that says it on this little like cap label right here, so it says Fictions. So, but it's Anthropologie, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite perfume. Okay, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this little chit chat with me while I got ready and did my hair and my makeup. If you did, please give this a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new. And the first adventure starts with the first step. So go out and take that first step towards your adventure. Thanks for watching Angie in Wonderland. I will see you guys next time.